Hello. If you're watching this, I don't think anyone is here, but I'm streaming again. Hold on, let me get. I should probably turn off my phone audio. Set up. So I have a couple minutes until I'm scheduled. Started early. I have a phone with the stream running so I could just check it. I just realized you could see the light from the camera. Dude, only about 10 minutes late. But I just have to wait. Alex, are you online? Are you here? Jump if you're here. Come upstairs and knock on my door if this is you, Alex. Someone say something in chat. Number 15, Burger King foot lettuce. Mic check. Hold on. Okay, good. I have my mic. I have it set up. I'm gonna wait for a few more viewers. I'll start exactly at noon, actually. Reading Diary of a Wimpy Kid in the Chill's voice. I'm not doing anything. Two minutes. I'm gonna go into Reddit. Okay. Wait, wait, like one more minute. I have to read this entire book. I'm probably gonna be extremely bored. Well, let's go. First of all, let me get something straight. This is a journal, not a diary. I know what it says on the cover, but when Mom went out to buy this thing, I specifically told her not to get one that didn't say diary on it. Great. All I need is for some jerk to catch me carrying this book around and get the wrong idea. The other thing I want to clear up right away is that this was Mom's idea, not mine. I do want to let you know I do have a stutter, so I will stutter. But if she thinks I'm going to write down my feelings in here or whatever, she's crazy. So just don't expect me to be all, Dear Diary this and Dear Diary that. The only reason I agreed to do this at all is because I figure out later on when I'm rich and famous, I'll have better things to do than answer people's stupid questions all day long. So this book is going to come in handy. Like I said, I'll be famous one day, but for now, I'm stuck in middle school with a bunch of morons. Let me just say, for the record, that I think middle school is the dumbest idea ever invented. You got kids like me who haven't hit their growth spurt yet, mixing with these gorillas who need to shave twice a day. And then they wonder why bullying is such a big problem in middle school. If it was up to me, grade levels would be based on height, not age. But then again, I guess that would mean kids like Craig Gupta would still be in the first grade. Today is the first day of school, and right now we're just waiting around for the teacher to hurry up and finish the seating chart. So I figured I might as well write in this book to pass the time. By the way, let me give some good advice. On the first day of school, you got to be real careful where you sit. You walk into the classroom and just plunk your stuff down at any old desk, and the next thing you know, the teacher saying, I hope you all like where you're sitting, because these are your permanent seats. So in this class, I got stuck with Chris Hosey in the front of me, and Lionel James in the back. Jason Brill came in late and almost sat to my right, but luckily I stopped that from happening at the last second. Next period, I should just sit in the middle of a bunch of hot girls as soon as I step in the room, but I guess if I do that, it just proves I didn't learn anything from last year. Man, I don't know what is up with the girls these days. It used to be a whole lot simpler back in elementary school. The deal was, if you were the fastest runner in your class, you got all the girls. And in the 5th grade, the fastest runner was Ronnie McCoy. Nowadays, it's a whole lot more complicated. It's about the kind of clothes you wear, or how rich you are, or if you have a cute butt, or whatever. And it's kids like Ronnie McCoy are scratching their heads, wondering what the heck happened. The most popular boy in my grade is Bryce Anderson. The thing that really stinks is that I have always been into girls, but kids like Bryce have only come around in the last couple of years. I remember how Bryce used to act back in elementary school. But of course, now I don't get any credit for sticking with the girls all this time. Like I said, Bryce is the most popular kid in our grade, so that leaves all the rest of us guys scrambling for the other spots. The best I can figure out is that I'm somewhere around 52nd or 53rd most popular this year. But the good news is that I'm about to move up one spot because Charlie Davies is above me and he's getting his braces next week. I tried to explain all this popularity stuff to my friend Rowley, who was probably hovering right around the 150 mark, by the way. But I think it just goes in one ear and out the other with him. Today, we had phys ed, so the first thing I did when I got outside was sneak off to the basketball court to see if the cheese was still there, and sure enough, it was. That piece of cheese has been sitting on the blacktop ever since last spring. I guess it must have dropped out of someone's sandwich or something. After a couple of days, the cheese started getting all moldy and nasty. Nobody would even play basketball on the court where the cheese was, even though that was the only court that had a hoop with a net. Then one day, this kid named Darren Walsh touched the cheese with his finger, and that's what started this thing called the cheese touch. It's basically like the cooties, but if you get the cheese touch, you're stuck with it until you pass it on to someone else. The only way to protect yourself from the cheese touch is to cross your fingers. But it's not that easy. Remembering to keep your fingers crossed every moment of the day. I ended up taping mine together so they stay crossed all the time. I got a D in handwriting, but it was totally worth it. This one kid named Abe Hall got the cheese touch in April, and nobody would even come near him for the rest of the year. This summer, Abe moved away to California and took the cheese touch with him. I just hope someone doesn't start the cheese touch up again, because I don't need that kind of stress in my life anymore. I'm having a seriously hard time getting used to the fact that summer is over and I have to get out of bed every morning to go to school. My summer did not exactly get off to a great start, thanks to my older brother, Roderick. Sorry, I have water because my voice can get sore after a while. A couple of days into summer vacation, Roderick woke me up in the middle of the night. He told me I slept through the whole summer, but that luckily I woke up in time just for the first day of school. You might think that I was pretty dumb for falling for that one, but Roderick was dressed up in his school clothes, and he set my alarm clock ahead to make it look like it was the morning. Plus, he closed my curtains so I couldn't see that it was still dark out. After Roderick woke me up, I got dressed and went downstairs to make myself some breakfast, like I do every morning on a school day. But I guess I must have made a pretty big racket, because the next thing I knew, Dad was downstairs yelling at me for eating Cheerios at 3 in the morning. It took me a minute to figure out what the heck was going on. After I did, I told Dad that Roderick had played a trick on me, and he was the one that should be getting yelled at. Dad walked down to the basement to chew Roderick out, and I tagged along. I couldn't wait to see Roderick get what was coming to him. But Roderick covered up his tracks pretty good, and to this day, I'm sure Dad thinks I got a screw loose or something. Today, at school, we got assigned to reading groups. They don't even come right out and tell you if you're in the gifted group or the easy group, but you can figure it out right away by looking at the covers of the books they hand out. I was pretty disappointed to find out I got put in the gifted group, because that means I got a lot of extra work. When they did the screening at the end of last year, I did my best to make sure I got put in the easy group this year. Mom is real tight with our principal, so I bet she stepped in and made sure I got put in the gifted group again. Mom is always saying I'm a smart kid, that I just don't apply myself. But if there's one thing I learned from Roderick, it's to set people's expectations real low, so you end up surprising them by practically doing nothing at all. Actually, I'm kind of glad my plan to get put in the easy group didn't work. I saw a couple of the Bink says boo kids holding their books upside down, and I don't think they were joking. Well, the first week of school is finally over, so today I slept in. Most kids wake up on Saturday to watch cartoons or whatever, but not me. The only reason I. Hold on. Sorry, I'm tired. The only reason I get out of bed at all on weekends is because eventually I can't stand the taste of my own breath anymore. Unfortunately, Dad wakes up at 6 in the morning, no matter what day of the week it is, and he is not real considerate of the fact that I'm trying to enjoy my Saturday like a real person. I didn't have anything to do today, so I just headed up to Rowley's house. Rowley is technically my best friend, but that is definitely subject to change. I've been avoiding Rowley since the first day of school when he did something that really annoyed me. We were getting our stuff from our lockers at the end of the day, and Rowley came up to me and said, "Want to come over to my house and play?" Aren't you going to answer that? I have told Rowley at least a billion times that now we're in middle school. You were supposed to say hang out, not play. But no matter how many noogies I give him, he always forgets the next time. I've been trying to be a lot more careful about my image ever since I got to middle school. But having Rowley around is definitely not helping. I met Rowley a few years ago when he moved into my neighborhood. His mom bought him this book called How to Make Friends in New Places, and he came to me. I'm having a stroke. And he came to my house trying all these dumb gimmicks. Knock knock, huh? Thermos, excuse me. Thermos be some way to tickle your funny bone. Say what? I guess I felt kind of sorry for Rowley, and I decided to take him under my wing. It's been great having him around, mostly because I get to use all the tricks Roderick pulls on me. Did you know that if your hand is bigger than your face, it's a sign of low intelligence? Really? Huh, gotcha. But do I have low intelligence? Let me check again. That hurt. You know how say that I play sorts of all pranks on Rowley? Well, I have a little brother named Manny, and I would never get away with pulling any of that stuff on him. I have a cheese touch. Mom and Dad protect Manny like he's a prince or something, and he never gets in trouble, even if he really deserves it. Yesterday, Manny drew a self-portrait on my bedroom door in permanent marker. I thought Mom and Dad were really gonna let him have it, but as usual, I was wrong. But that thing that bugs me the most about Manny is a nickname he has for me when he was a baby. He couldn't pronounce brother, so he started calling me Bubby. And he still calls me that now, even though I keep trying to get Mom and Dad to make him stop. Luckily, none of my friends have found it out yet. But believe me, I have had some really close calls. Hey, this one said it's to Bubby. Must be a mistake. Mom makes me help Manny get ready for school in the morning. After I make Manny his breakfast, he carries his cereal bowl to the family room and sits on his plastic potty. And when it's time for him to go to daycare, he gets up and dumps whatever he didn't eat right into the toilet. Mom is always getting on me about not finishing my breakfast, but if she had to scrape cornflakes out of the bottom of a plastic potty every morning, she wouldn't have much of an appetite either. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I am super good at video games. I bet I could beat anyone in my grade head to head. Unfortunately, Dad does not exactly appreciate my skills. He's always getting on me about going and doing something active. So tonight, after dinner, when Dad started hassling me about going outside, I tried to explain how with video games, you can play sports like football and soccer, and you don't even get all hot and sweaty. But as usual, Dad didn't see my logic. Dad is a pretty smart guy in general, but when it comes to common sense, sometimes I wonder about him. I'm sure Dad would dismantle my game system if he could figure out how to do it, but luckily, the people who make these things make them parent-proof. Alright, I'm gonna just check how many pages are. I'm gonna be here all day. Every time Dad kicks me out of the house to do something sporty, I just go up to Rowley and play my video games there. Unfortunately, the only games I can play at Rowley's are car racing games and stuff like that. Because whenever I bring the game up to Rowley's house, his dad looks it up on some parent's website, and if my game has any kinds of fighting or violence in it, he won't let us play. I'm getting sick of playing Formula One racing with Rowley because he's not a serious gamer like me, and all that you have do to beat Rowley is name your car something ridiculous at the beginning of the game. And when you pass Rowley's car, he just falls to pieces. Bad far ahead. Ha. Anyway, after I got done mopping the floor with Rowley today, I headed home. I ran through the neighbor's sprinkler a couple of times to make it look like I was all sweaty, and that seemed to do the trick for Dad. But my trick kind of backfired, because as soon Mom saw me, she made me go upstairs and take a shower. I guess Dad must have been pretty happy with himself for making me go outside yesterday because he did it again today. It's getting really annoying having to go up to rallies every time. I want to play a video game. There's this weird kid named Fregley who lives halfway between my house and Riley's house, and Fregley is always hanging out in his front yard, so it's pretty hard to avoid him. Want to see my secret freckle? No thanks. Fregley is in my phys ed class at school, and he has this whole made up language. Like when he needs to go to the bathroom, he says juice. Us kids have pretty much figured out Fregley by now, but I don't think the teachers have really caught on yet. Today, I probably would have gone to rallies on my own anyway, because my brother Roderick and his band were practicing down in the basement. Roderick's band is really awful, and I can't stand being home when they're having rehearsals. His band is called Loaded Diaper, and it's spelled Loaded Dipper on Roderick's van. You might think he spelled it that way to make it look cooler, but I bet if you told Roderick how Loaded Diaper is really spelled, it would be bad news to him. Dad was against the idea of Roderick starting a band, but Mom was all for it. She's the one who bought Roderick his first drum set. I think Mom has this idea that we're all going to learn to play instruments and then become one of those family bands like you see on TV. Please leave a like. I'm gonna be here all day reading Diary of a Wimpy Kid. It's over 200 pages, and I'm only on page 30. Thank you, me, for the like. Dad really hates heavy metal, and that's the kind of music Roderick and his band play. I don't think Mom really cares what Roderick plays or listens to, because to her, all music. I should really get more sleep. Mom really cares what Roderick plays or listens to, because to her, all music is the same. In fact, earlier today, Roderick was listening to one of his CDs in the family room, and Mom came in and started dancing. That really bugged Roderick, so I drove off to the store and came back 15 minutes later with some headphones, and that pretty much took care of the problem. Yesterday, Roderick got a new heavy metal CD, and it was one of those parental warning stickers on it. I have never gotten to listen to one of those parental warning CDs because Mom and Dad never let me buy them at the mall. So I realized the only way I was gonna get a chance to listen to one of Roderick's CDs was if I snuck it out of the house. This morning, after Roderick left, I called up Riley and told him to bring a CD player to school. Then I went down to Roderick's room and took the CD off his rack. You're not allowed to bring personal music players to school, so we had to wait to use it until after lunch when the teachers let us outside. As soon as we got the chance, me and Riley snuck up to behind the school and loaded up Roderick's CD, but Rowley forgot to put in the batteries in his CD player, so it was pretty much worthless. Then I came up with this great idea for a game. The object was to put the headphones on your head and then try to shake them off without using your hands. The winner was whoever could shake the headphones off in the shortest amount of time. I had the record with 7.5 seconds, but I think I might have shook some of my feelings loose with that one. Right in the middle of our game, Miss Craig came around the corner and caught us red-handed. She took the music player away from me and started chewing us out. But I think she had the wrong idea about what we were doing back there. She started telling us rock and roll is evil and how it's going to ruin our brains. I was going to tell her that there weren't even any batteries in the CD player, but I could tell she didn't want to be interrupted, so I just waited until she was done, and then I said, "Yes, ma'am." But right when Miss Craig was about to let us go, now he started blubbering how he doesn't want rock and roll to ruin his brains. Honestly, sometimes I don't know about that boy. Well, now, I've gone and done it. Last night, after everyone is in bed, I stepped downstairs to listen to Roderick's CD on the stereo in the family room. But I put Roderick's new headphones on and cranked the volume really high, and then I hit play. First, let me say I can definitely understand why they put that parental warning sticker on the CD. But I only had to hear about 30 seconds of the first song, then I got interrupted. It turns out I didn't have the headphones plugged into the stereo, so the music was actually coming through the speakers, not the headphones. Dad marched me up to my room and shut the door behind him, and then he said, "Let's have a talk. Let, let, let's you and me have a talk, friend." Whenever Dad says friend, by the way, that way, you know you're in trouble. The first time Dad ever said friend like that to me, I didn't I didn't get that he was being sarcastic, and I kind of let my guard. So I kind of let my guard down. I don't make that mistake anymore. Tonight, Dad yelled at me for about 10 minutes, and he decided he'd rather be in bed than standing in my room in his underwear. He told me that I was grounded from playing video games for 2 weeks, which is about what I expected. I guess I should be glad that's all he did. The good thing about Dad is that whenever he gets mad, he cools off real quick and then it's over. Usually, if you mess up in front of Dad, he just throws whatever he's got in your hands at you. A good time to screw up is when he's holding a newspaper. A bad time to screw up is when he's holding a brick. Mom has a totally different style when it comes to punishment. If you mess up and Mom catches you, the first thing she does is take a few days to figure out what your punishment should be. And while you're waiting, all you do all these nice things to try and get off easier. I just dusted the dining room for the heck of it. How thoughtful of you. I would never do that. But then, after a few days, right when you forget you're in trouble, that's when she lays it on you. This video game ban is a whole lot tougher than I thought it would be. But at least I'm not the only one in the family who is in trouble. Roderick's in some hot water with Roderick, in some hot water with Mom right now, too. Manny got a hold of one of Roderick's heavy metal magazines, and one of the pages had a picture of a woman in a bikini leaning across the hood of a car. And then Manny brought it into daycare for show and tell. Anyway, I don't think Mom was too happy about getting that phone call. I saw the magazine myself, and it honestly wasn't anything to get worked up over. My mom doesn't allow that kind of stuff in the house. Radek's punishment was that he had to answer a bunch of questions Mom wrote out for him. I'm still grounded from playing video games, so that Manny has been using my system. Mom went out and bought a whole bunch of educational video games, and watching Manny play them is like torture. The good news is that I finally figured out how to get my games past Riley's dad. I just put one of my discs in Manny's discovering the alphabet case, and that's all it takes. At school today, they announced that student government elections are coming up. To be honest with you, I never had any interest in student government, but when I started thinking about it, I realized getting elected treasurer would totally change my situation at school. Oh, hold on, my computer's running low. I forgot to plug it in. The mic fell. And even we jocks need an air pump to inflate our only football. I changed voice because I forgot to do that part in the Chill's voice. Yeah, sorry, I can't help you with that. Nobody ever thinks about running for treasurer because all anyone ever cares about are the big ticket positions like president and vice president. So I figure if I sign up tomorrow, the treasurer job is pretty much mine for the taking. Today I went up and put my name on the list to run for treasurer too, and unfortunately, this kid named Marty Porter is running for treasurer too, and he's real brainy at math, so this might be as easy as I thought. Oh, I have the stream running on my phone, and I forgot to, and it was paused, so I have to make it live again. Hold on. There we go. I told Dad that I was running for student government, and he seemed pretty excited. But it turns out he ran for student government when he was my age, and he actually won. Dad dug through some old boxes in the basement and found one of his campaign posters. I thought the poster idea was pretty good, So I asked Dad to drive me to the store to get some supplies. I loaded it up on a poster board and markers, and I spent the rest of the night making all my campaign stuff. So let's just hope these posters work. I brought I brought my posters into school today, and I have to say they came out pretty good. Do you want Marty Porter to be your treasurer? I started hanging up my posters as soon as I got in, but they were only up for about 3 minutes before Vice Principal Roy spotted them. Mr. Roy said you weren't allowed to write fabrications about the other candidates, so I told Mr. Roy about the headlights was true, and how it was practically closed down the whole school when it happened. But he took down my posters anyway. So today, Marty Porter was going around handing out lollipops to buy himself votes, while my posters were sitting at the bottom of Mr. Roy's trash can. I guess this means my political career is officially over. I'm going to start saying the dates. Monday. Well, it's finally October, and there are only 30 days left until Halloween. Halloween is my favorite holiday, even though Mom says I'm getting too old to go trick-or-treating anymore. I lost my spot. Hold on. Halloween is Dad's favorite holiday too, but for a different reason. On Halloween night, while all the other parents are handing out candy, Dad is hiding in the bushes with a big trash can full of water. And if any teenagers pass by our driveway, he drenches them. I'm pretty sure Dad really understands the concept. I'm not sure Dad really understands the concept of Halloween, but I'm not gonna be the one who spoils his fun. Alex, if you're watching this, can you get me a pretzel stick? I'm hungry. I locked my door. Hold on. Thank you. Oh no, the mic fell. I have a pretzel stick. Tonight was the opening night of the Crossland High School haunted house, and I got Mom to agree to take me and Rowley. Rowley showed up at my house wearing his Halloween costume from last year when I called him earlier and told him just wear regular clothes, but of course he did not listen. I tried not to let it bother me too much, though I've never been allowed to go to the Crossland haunted house before. and I wasn't gonna let Rowley ruin it for me. Roderick has told me all about it, and I've been looking forward to this for about 3 years. Anyway, when we got to the entrance, I started having second thoughts about going in. But Mom seemed like she was in a hurry to get this over with, and she moved us along. Once we were through the gate, it was one scare after another. There were vampires jumping out at you and people without heads and all sorts of crazy stuff. Here's a note for a channel update. Every time we eat a food in our videos from now on, it's always just going to be a pretzel stick. A single pretzel stick. Nothing else. Let's continue. But the worst part was this area called Chainsaw Alley, and there was this really big guy in a hockey mask, and he had a real chainsaw. Roderick told me the chainsaw has a rubber blade, but I wasn't taking any chances. Right when it looked like the chainsaw guy was gonna catch up, really catch us. Mom stepped in and bailed us out. What? Alex. He's talking in chat if you're confused. Stress ball, by the way. If I'm going to be here all day, I need a way to relieve stress. You wanted this, Alex. This is your fault. Good. I will have breaks every hour. It's been about 15 minutes. I didn't say it had to be an hour. I said about an hour. It is an hour time. Hey, what about pain? E. Hey, what about pain? E. Hey, what about pain? E. Oh. 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 Loops. Oh. You deserve this, Alex. I'm done. I can hear it from downstairs. I'm sorry if you're a headphone user. I am very sorry. Alex, I did stop. Mom made the chainsaw. Hold on. Mom made the chainsaw guy show us. Oh wait, Alex, you said go? Okay. I'm back. Hold on, my charger fell out. How do I get that fixed? I returned with more brittle sticks. Mom made the chainsaw guy show us where the exit was, and that was the end of our haunted house experience there. I guess it was a little embarrassing when Mom did that. I'm out of breath. Whew, hold on. Let me get something. Hold on. Need to move the mic. Yeah. I can get it. I can get it. I was gonna put the background music on that Chill uses in his videos. Okay, well, rail sticks, cause I'm hungry. The crust and haunted house really got me thinking. Those guys were charging $5 a pop, and the line stretched halfway around the school. I decided to make a haunted house of my own. Actually, I had to bring Rally in on the deal because Mom wouldn't let me convert our first floor into a full out haunted house. I knew Rally's dad wouldn't be crazy about the idea either, so we decided to build a haunted house in his basement and just not mention it to his parents. Me and Rally spent most of the day coming up with an awesome plan for our haunted house. Here was our final plan: a hall of screams, a lake of blood, a bottomless pit, a knife alley, a maze of 1,000 skulls, a rat tunnel, death slide, an acid lake, hand hall. They will grab you, and then the exit. I can hear you, Alex. I can see you, Alex. I just heard him say shut up. Okay, Alex, I'll read. I don't mean to brag or anything, but what we came up with was way better than the Crossland High School haunted house. We realized that we were going to microwave. We realized we were going to get the word out we were doing this thing. So we got some papers and made up a bunch of flyers. I'd admit, maybe we stretched the truth a little in our advertisement, but we had to make sure people actually showed up. Haunted house with live sharks. 32 Surrey Street. Admission 50 cents. 3 p.m. By the time we finished putting the flyers up around the neighborhood and back, Rally's base together yet. So we had to cut some corners for our original plan. Did you cut up? Did your video cut a little bit? I got a notification that my connection was stable. Is everything good now? Alex, yell if everything is good. Okay, perfect. By the time we finished putting flyers up around the neighborhood and got back to Rally's basement, it was already 2:30, and we hadn't even started putting the actual haunted house together yet. When 3 o'clock rolled around, we looked outside to see if anyone showed up. And sure enough, there were about 20 neighborhood kids waiting in the line outside Rowley's basement. Now, I know our flyer said admission was 50 cents, but I could see that we had a chance to make a killing here. So I told the kids that our admission was $2 and the 50-cent thing was just a typo. The first kid to cough up his $2 was Shane Snella. He paid his money and we let him inside, and me and Rowley took our position in the Hall of Screams. The Hall of Screams was basically a bed with me and Rowley on either side of it. I guess maybe because halfway through, Shane was under there, but he wouldn't budge. All the money we were losing was clogging up the Hall of Screams, and I knew we had to get him out of there quick. Eventually, Raleigh's dad came downstairs. At first, I was happy to see him because he thought he can help us drag Shane out from under the bed and get our haunted house cranking again. But Raleigh's dad wasn't in a helpful mood. Raleigh's dad wanted to know what we were doing and why Shane Snella was curled up under the bed. We told him that our basement was a haunted house and that Shane Snella actually paid for us to do this to him, but Raleigh's dad didn't believe it. I admit, if you looked around and it didn't really look like a haunted house, all we had put together was the Hall of Screams and the Lake of Blood, which was really Raleigh's old baby pool with a half bottle of ketchup in it. I would drink that. I tried to show Raleigh's dad our original plan to prove that we were running a legitimate operation, but he still didn't seem convinced. And to make a long story short, that was the end of our haunted house. The good news is, since Raleigh's dad didn't believe us, he didn't make us refund Shane's money, so at least we cleared $2 today. Pretzel stick time. Rowley ended up getting grounded for that whole haunted house mess yesterday, and he's not allowed to watch TV for a week, and he's not allowed to have me over at his house during that time. Hold on. I'm good now. That last part really isn't fair because that's punishing me, and I didn't even do anything wrong. And now, where am I supposed to play my video games? Anyway, I felt kind of bad for Rowley. So tonight, I tried to make it up to him. I turned on one of Rowley's favorite TV shows, and I did a play-by-play over the phone so he can kind of experience it that way. Wow, look at the size of that flamethrower. Oh wait, never mind. I did my best to keep up with what was going on the screen, but to be honest with you, I'm not sure if Rowley was getting the full effect. I bet this part is going to be funny. It is funny. Sorry. He's just screaming read. Sorry, there's a cat. Hey. Yes, Nick. Oh. Excuse me. Well, Rowley's grounding is finally. Why am I burping? Well, Rowley's grounding is finally over, and just in time for Halloween too. I went up to his house to check out his costume, and I have to admit, I'm a little jealous. Rowley's mom got him this night costume that's way cooler than his costume from last year. His night outfit came with everything, a helmet and a shield and a real sword and everything. I never had a store-bought costume before. I still haven't figured out what I'm going to do as tomorrow night, so I'll probably just throw something together the last minute. I figure maybe I'll bring back the toilet paper mummy again. But I think it's supposed to rain tomorrow night, so that might not be the smartest idea. In the past few years, the grown-ups in my neighborhood have been getting cranky about my Halloween costumes, and I'm starting to think it's actually having an effect on the amount of candy I'm bringing in. I'm gonna put it in the basement. I'm getting cold. Basement? Did I say basement? I meant blanket. Okay. What are you supposed to be? A cowboy. I'm wearing double baseball hats. Can't you see? But I don't really have time to put together a good costume because I'm in charge of planning out the best route for me and Riley to take tomorrow night. Can I just read it in the normal voice now? Okay, I'm gonna just switch to my normal voice because I'm getting tired of chills. 10 minutes, 23 seconds. I'm just making a small